Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a movie review, and this is for the movie Up in the Air, which is directed by Jason Reitman, who we all know, who did Juno and Thank You for Smoking. And this stars George Clooney and Vera Farmiga. And I have to say, when I went to go see this movie, I suddenly realized that we are entering Oscar season, which is my favorite time of the year because it's the time when we get to see the better movies that come out throughout the year, the movies are that require thinking, that are intellectual, that are rich, movies that are artistic and worth talking about with people, worth arguing about, as opposed to the kind of mindless stuff we're used to seeing throughout the year. But this is definitely one of those films, one of those rare films that is kind of unique but yet mainstream at the same time, something that is really special and definitely worth talking about. I'm going to give you a little bit of what it's about, give you the premise. It's about this guy who is played by George Clooney, and he is a man whose job it is to fire people. That's what he does. He basically goes all over the country and just fires people all day long. And he's listened to all their stories, seen people just cry, people go crazy, go ballistic, and he just kind of has to, well, I guess you'd have to if you've got this kind of job. He just kind of takes it and brushes it off his shoulders and goes on with his day. And he travels pretty much all the time. That's where he lives. He lives up in the air, and that's where he wants to be. He loves the airports, he knows everything about them. He just loves being in an airplane because it gives him a sense of detachment from the rest of the world. He doesn't think that he needs a relationship with anyone else. He doesn't want any human connection. And so that's why living up in the air in an airplane is the perfect place for him, living in hotels all the time. And he does have an apartment, but it's unfurnished. He hasn't done anything with it. He hates it. He does not like living in one place. He also has a family who we get to meet later on through the movie, but he has no attachment to them either. He never sees them. He's just a lonely, kind of lost soul, I think. And this movie is about him trying to find himself, realizing that every human needs some sort of connection with someone else, needs human emotion, needs support. And that is a story that we've heard many times about the shallow, ridiculous protagonist who kind of turns around and finds hope and all of that. But I think why this movie works is because it's directed by Jason Reitman. And Jason Reitman takes something like this, which is a very mainstream kind of moral issue, I guess you could say, or I guess a theme that is very, I guess, cliche, and he turns it into something that is really special and very fresh. Because Reitman, I mean, he's so young, and people are starting to compare him to people like Billy Wilder. And I'm not going to go so far as to, say that he is, the next Billy Wilder, but he does kind of have that Billy Wilder-esque style where he takes situations, I guess, social issues, and he's able to kind of satirize them. And he is able to just create such an individualized point of view. And what I really love about Reitman is the way that he directs. He's got a wonderful sense of direction and a great eye for things. He sees the comedic side of everything. And with his direction, he's got very quick cuts. Everything is very well paced, very slick, very edgy. Yet he sees, as I said, he sees the comedy in each frame. He knows what kind of work he likes to do. He understands his genre very, very well. And in this movie, it really works so well because he's able to he loves working in that kind of indie hipster, he loves that indie hipster kind of quality. And I think that makes this movie seem so fresh because, as I said, it's a very kind of old storyline that we've heard a million times, but he adds such a vivaciousness to it and he makes it so fresh and interesting. And that is what's so wonderful about him. And I think that he should definitely get a Best Directing Oscar nomination. And pretty much I think everyone should get a nomination for this movie because everyone involved is so great. The script is just snappy, it's comic, it's special. Um, And also George Clooney is great in this movie. He is better than I've seen him in a long time. He plays, I mean, I know that he's an icon. I mean, let's face it, George Clooney is one of those guys you can't watch him and not think about George Clooney, or at least I can't. In this movie, I'm going to be honest, I didn't see the character he was portraying. I saw George Clooney because he is an icon and everyone loves him, and heck, I would want to be George Clooney because he is so debonair, he's so suave, he looks, or he at least he appears to be so comfortable with himself, but not overconfident, and we feel comfortable watching him. And that's something that a lot of actors can't do. They don't have that presence, that charisma that he has. But honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that I know I'm watching George Clooney and not another character, because he is able to take command of the screen and of the audience, and he just carries the movie on his shoulders throughout the entire film. And no matter how shallow the character is, you really relate to him and you feel like you really go on his journey and you go with him through every emotional roller coaster that he goes through. He's kind of like, I guess, Clark Gable or Cary Grant, or, like when I go see a Fred Astaire movie, a Fred Astaire Ginger Rogers movie, I'm not paying attention to the character that Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers are playing, because I mean, it's Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. They're always together in movies and they dance. That's what they do. That's their specialty. Fred Astaire, he played tons of characters throughout his career, but I'm not thinking about those characters. I'm thinking about Fred Astaire. But Fred Astaire has such a likable quality and he's so wonderful that I don't really care. I like Fred Astaire. I think he is an excellent presence on screen. And I have the same thing with George Clooney. I think that he's just, even though I may not be thinking about him portraying a different character, I like who he is and I enjoy kind of watching him, like watching his ease and kind of enjoying his magnetism on screen. And that's why I think he's really great. And also Vera Farmiga, who is the or the female character that he really takes an interest in and falls in love with. She is wonderful because she's like a woman version of him, a woman who sees him as an escape from her redundant life, a woman who is also very confident with herself. Um, she's one of those women. I think Vera Farmiga is a wonderful actress because she's got so much. I mean, she's very confident with herself. She's got a lot of poise, but yet she's got those little moments, in her body language, with her eyes, where you really see that there's more to her. And that's what makes her more mysterious, I think. In this movie, I'm not going to go into it because I'd be giving things away, but she is able to kind of show in little subtle moments of, she's not all that she is she's not the person that she appears to be, and you really do see that later on. But yeah, two very strong performances from these two people, and overall just a wonderful movie. It does have some soft spots here and there and some problems, I think, but I think it's a really enjoyable picture and something that kind of rises above the mainstream movie that we are used to seeing. And as I said, we're entering Oscar season. This is definitely going to get a lot of nominations. It is one of the best movies of the year. And that is very exciting because it's really wonderful when you see a director who's so young, who has so much to say, and is really making a name for themselves in the movie industry, really having everything come together really well and having a project like this. And this is just one of those special films that I think is going to definitely get a lot of praise later on in the year. And I think you definitely need to see this movie. This is a movie that I think that you will all really enjoy, and yeah, so that's pretty much what I have to say. And so I hope you guys go see it, and I definitely think you will really, really be entertained by it. So yeah, so see you later.